I just made the front page of the news, and it's not for anything good. 130 people signed a petition to stop this development. If the council listen to them, I lose my 8-bed and I lose the Flagship. This is episode 3. We're not just fighting the neighbours, we're fighting the whole town. And whilst the media's been talking, we have been building. Come on in and let me show you the progress update. So we're currently at first fix right now. We've done the loft conversion by now. However, issues with the party wall, we've cracked on, got our middle floor steel in, and now we've done all of the internal first fix, so all of the en-suites and bedrooms are studded out. I'll show you all of that in a second. Firstly, let's check out the ground floor. So these are 2 en-suites. One thing we're waiting for is the steel beam to go into this wall to hold up our internal floors. However, issues with the party wall agreement means that's been left to last. Now what we have managed to do is crack on, leave everything supported on our good old friendly acros, and this has allowed us to get all of this first fixed. Things to do in bedroom 2. Got the chimney to come out, doorway to move over, and to block up that rear door and fit a nice window in there. We'll be going for a full length window on that. Make sure we get maximum amount of light in this dark bedroom because this is north facing. The difference in cost between a full window and a half window is probably only about £50. Now you will end up wasting money blocking it up though. Now let's check out the communals, or previously known as the storeroom. So because we've got issues with the loft conversion and the party wall agreement, all of the timber for the loft is being stored on site out here. So this is where our kitchen's going to be, and we'll be doing the rear extension off the back. However, now because we might not get the planning for the 8-bed, we're now looking at scrapping off the extension and keeping this as just a kitchen area. Kitchen and communal area will probably come in about 18 square meters where it is currently, so that'll be sufficient for 6 people in Eastleigh Council. So there's a lot to do at this back room. However, until we get the planning decision, we're not going to touch anything. We're going to crack on with the loft conversion and the rooms upstairs. Now, talking of which, let me go and show you how we're getting along upstairs, because there's been quite a lot of progress. Now, not much has happened out the back. However, take a look at this. We've got the main steel beam in, which is going to hold all of the second floor and all of our internal stud work. This means that the sparks and the plumbers can get in here on Monday and start first fixing all the way through. Now, we might have slowed down on the loft conversion, but we are not slowing down on the internal work. The good thing about how we've managed to get that beam in is it means that we can carry on with everything else. Like I said, the neighbours might think that they've won the battle and that they're going to slow us down. We're still cracking on. 6-bed HMO coming to the space near you very soon. Now we know we're going to be getting the 6-bed. It's risky going and doing all of the work for the 8. So that's why we're going to hold off on the rear extension. When it comes to property, you've really got to manage your risk. 6-bed, we know we've got the lawful development certificate under permitted development to do, so we can crack on with this development. Changing over an ensuite and a downstairs room for 7-bed isn't going to cost much, but doing the rear extension is going to add on an extra 40,000. And now I'm going to say, let's hold off on that till we get the plan in. And this is always what I talk about, is risk management. These deals are risky. The neighbours are risky. The finance is risky. You're over leveraging, you're borrowing tons of money, and the interest payments rack up. You've got so many variables in property, and the only thing that you can try and manage is your risk. So when doing these deals, if this was in Article 4 and we didn't have the planning permission yet, we would not be at this stage. However, this is the great thing of doing outside of Article 4. Now, some of our other sites are in Article 4, and we'll be documenting on how we get planning, what to look out for in Article 4, and the different strategies and the different steps. However, these will be in separate videos. Right now, we're focusing on the Flagship that has not got a white flag up just yet. Click subscribe, follow along the journey, and I promise you, you will get tons of value from this series. And now let's talk about the media and why they have been trying to trash my name.
Fucking do it. In the midnight, you know I say.
I'm going to give you a little bit of wisdom. Everything around right now seems fucked. We can't get off a bridge on one property. We've got loads of issues with the neighbours. We're going to have to go to committee. We've got a big objection letter going against our development. And it might look round and say everything is going wrong. And this is why you've always got to be positive. It's always going to work out. If you want big things, you want big portfolios, this comes with risk. And how you handle that, your stress, is so important. And at the end of the day, is it just financial? Because if money can fix it, then it's fine. Don't overstretch yourself, but just remember, it's all going to be all right eventually. With time, with property, is a healer. It doesn't matter, you might end up leaving more in the deal than you planned on. As long as it's not going to financially cripple you, keep on going. So the newspapers have been saying that we're housing low-end stock. Now let's break this entire article down. One of the first things that they've said is that I've been threatening the neighbours. Now what I did not do was threaten the neighbours. I just simply made them aware of the reality of, if we can't push on and deliver this project to the high-end spec that we're going to have to look at this from a financial standpoint and not do the high-end professional HMO. Now if we're not doing high-end professional HMO and spending 200,000, could we just get in and out of this deal for 100,000 and put it to a social housing provider? And that's your deal analysis. If they're going to drag their heels and do everything they can to stop this development and delay us by 3 months and not get the 8-bed planning permission, we might have to look at the balance sheet and say, well, it's not going to suit for professional. We're not going to be able to do it to the high spec. We're not going to be able to do it at the speed that we need to go at. We're going to have to give it to temporary accommodation. We're going to have to give it to a social housing provider. Now, this is the lower end stock of the rental market. It's not unnecessary or unlawful or untruthful to say that. You have high-end stock, high-end professional, and you have lower-end stock, your temporary accommodation, your asylum seekers, your Ministry of Justice people. And these people all need housing. Our business as a professional is professional co-living. We have professional developers and we house professionals in these properties. I know HMOs have got a bad name in the press, the migrants have been using them, the government has been paying them. Please let me understand, that is not our business model. Our business model is professionals, and it always has been. In hindsight, I shouldn't have said them, but they simply were just making them aware of the reality that if they continue to get in the way and cause issues, then maybe we will have to look at a different exit strategy. I always talk about risk management in property and making sure your deal has multiple exits. And that is one of the exits that could be on the table right now. Delays cost money, and with these delays comes financial changes. I'm not going to plough on and do this deal over 9 months, 12 months and lose thousands of pounds in interest and still go for the high end. If they're going to get in the way and stop it, we'll just be in and out of this project in 8 weeks. Every month that they delay is more interest that I have to pay. And when you're an investor, you've got to look at the spreadsheet and the numbers. This is not emotional. This is simply business. For them, it's emotional. For us, it is business. Now we need to look at the balance sheet and say, look, if we're going to have to spend 8 months, 9 months on bridging finance, maybe this deal isn't viable anymore. This is why we're simply looking to pivot during this development. And the pivot might be from professionals to social housing, or maybe even Airbnb for contractors. The only reason we're pivoting is from upset from the neighbours. The reality of it is they're all worried about us ruining the neighbourhood. Now, their actions might have actually caused the catalyst of why we end up not doing professional. So here's the article. Channel 4 reality contestant faces HMO dispute. And there I am, outside the property. A property developer currently appearing in Channel 4 reality show is facing mounting opposition from residents over plans to convert a 3-bed into an 8-bed HMO. Yada yada. Another message he wrote, he could easily rent this to far less suitable members of society. Look, was not the right way to word this. I'm well aware I was a bit stressed at the time. They've been causing me loads of aggro and loads of unnecessary pressure, threatening my builders with hammers, threatening me physically, and I was at breaking point. Maybe I said something that I shouldn't have said, and I hold my hands up and admit to that. But I was actually just giving them a reality check. And this is what it says in the article. If they continue to keep threatening us, will not let us work, we'll have no choice to cancel the high-end development because of the time schedules, because of the amount of money we will have to spend, you know. And we've reported this to police. It all talks about this in the article. We've got crime reference numbers to prove this, and this is where we're at. So I know the media is trying to paint me to be the bad person, the slumlord, the person who's ruining the neighbourhood. But if you actually knew more about the story, you'd understand the physical and emotional abuse that we've been experiencing from one resident in particular. So this makes me a bit upset because you know, guys, that I was trying to deliver the flagship all on films for you. But this is the reality of property investing. Sometimes it will go well, sometimes it will go not so well or terrible. Always have a plan B, always have an exit, and we'll see where this is going to bring us to. We're going to be at the planning committee, and let's see if we get approval for the 8-bed. I'm not optimistic like I was on my previous ones because of the animosity around this situation. However, keep following along. I'll keep you updated whether we're going to get the plan in and go for the full 8 and carry on with the flagship, or whether we're going to have to pivot and go for the 6. Now, let me be clear. If we end up pivoting and going for the 6, we will be rerunning this series on one of our brand new 8-beds that we have buying and completing on in a couple of weeks. We have the planning permission in place for these already, and there will be no neighbourhood disputes that will be stopping progress. Yeah, stay tuned for details, and I look forward to sharing this journey with you. You let me know in the comments. Would you want to live next to one, or would you rather they were off in the mid-centre of a town where you don't care about?